Did you see the image that I set up today?
No, I did not.
Oh, can I bring it up? Can I bring it up? Why not? How do I? Do I have to add the image, or maybe I can just share my screen? I can share my screen. I thought it was cute. We'll see if you think so or not. Okay. All right. Share screen. Share screen. Window. Allow. Can you see that?
Nope.
You can't.
Cannot.
Oh, add to stage. Here we go.
Oh.
Where does judgment sit in coaching? Do you see?
Like you in the box there, Ian.
And how about the person sitting with the gavel?
Oh, that's me.
Yeah.
I think this will be very much fun for us.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
All right. So I titled this, "Where Does Judgment Sit in Coaching?" I'm not actually sure where this is going to go because you're going to interview me on, because all I gave you was judgment. And you're like, I wonder what flavor you'll bring to the conversation of judgment. So yeah, let's see where this takes us. Where do you want to take me?
Well, do we want to start with checking in?
Yes, please.
So let's check in with you first.
Poof. In getting a couple of ideas straight this morning for judgment, I realize it brings up a lot of stuff for me. So I already feel like I'm a bit on the edge because I have a lot of things going on right now that either I feel judgment around, or it's like a self-imposed judgment of self, which is interesting too, because we're doing feedback today and I'm going to be getting feedback on my coaching. So add another layer of judgment on myself on a topic where I'm already like feeling it. So I feel like I got a lot going on, but there's a lot of internal judgment. And so it's a good theme for me to discuss today.
You're not alone.
I'm sure I'm not. And that's partly why I want these to be out there as well. So we all don't feel as alone while we're going through the stuff that we're going through. How about you?
Well, I felt a little bit peaked when I got here, but I really had a great workout this morning. I felt really energized. I think I overdid it. So my body's now going, okay, you're sitting down, you're hydrating yourself. Like that was good, but maybe next time slow it down a bit. And I'm feeling really peaceful today. I'm also going to be this afternoon in our workshop. I'm the person being coached, and I'm really really looking forward to unraveling and deconstructing my topics. So it's lifting me up.
It's good to hear that one of us is feeling up. Awesome.
Yeah, Ian, when you sent the word judgment yesterday, I just looked at that word and that has so much. There could be so much to talk about. And so when I said the flavor, I was curious about, in the realm of conversations, in the world that we practice in coaching, how does that kind of fit in, and how do we navigate that? So where are you right now with it? I'm curious where you want to start.
Well, I have two themes around judgment that I thought might be interesting to tackle. And the first would be when you're coaching, trying to remain judgment free, because we're going to be triggered by what people bring to the conversation, potentially, if it's something that goes against our values or we wouldn't do it that way or things like that. And I think it's really easy to fall into that, wanting to give advice because of the way that we see the situation. But as we know, trying to sit in that judgment-free space and hold a space so somebody can find the right answers for themselves is such a crucial part of the work that we do. And just if I lay out a story, just to kind of help give a little bit of color to why I think judgment has been such a big part of my life and my progression, and why I try to hold that space as pure as possible, is because of how judgment's affected me, or how I've let judgment affect me if I own it. So many years ago, Julie and I were to get married. That's my current wife, by the way. And I called off that wedding 3 months prior to us getting married. And there was a lot of gossip and conversation that centered around me, because people couldn't understand the choices that I had made in my life, and that one in particular. And I knew in my heart of hearts that I had to do what I did because I wasn't ready. And for whatever reasons, people couldn't understand that or grasp that. But I also didn't feel like it was part of their, like, they didn't need to know. It's not their life. They're my decisions, and I'm making these decisions for myself. So even though all of that was swirling around me, I knew I had to do what I was doing. And it wasn't until I healed myself properly and I was able to come back to Julie and we were able to get over that and get married. I know that was the right path for me. And so when I got into coaching, and this is actually where coaching started for me, it was through that recovery process, was trying to hold a space that was pure and didn't, where I wouldn't hold my views of what people were going through against them while they're trying to sort it all out. So trying to hold that pure space for other people to sort it out so that they can move the direction that's best for them. And the kind of like the headline to that is it's none of your business, right? It's their business. So if I can remain judgment free, I'm supporting them.
So I felt like you almost had two camps of judgment, letting them hold their judgment and you kind of sitting in your decision making and where you stood in your why. Can you talk a little bit about how you were able to make that happen? Because that's very common.
Can you ask me that? Can you ask me that again?
Yeah. So what did you do? What was your growth during that time? Because this would have been a big decision for you and Julie. Lots of people having opinions and judgments about that. Again, not uncommon in our lives where we're faced with very big decisions and choices. We have people that don't agree with that. What was your development? How did you said you wanted to be judgment free for them?
I think I don't think it was right away. I think this was a period of practice when I went from healing myself to moving in a direction of I want to coach other people, and not holding that against them. And it wasn't, I mean, our work together, even if I go back to 2013, when you exposed me to the changing the conversations, coaching for managers, when I had to come up with my own language for like why coaching is important. And it took me a long time to get there. But when I got to that space, trusting that people know what's best for them was a huge part of my learning. And because I was able to identify that I made decisions that other people couldn't understand, I can't understand what everybody else is going through, because they've got so many things that have flavored their life, colored their perspective, from their family development to the environment they grew up in to the experiences that they had. I can't know all of that. So why would I impose my beliefs, thoughts, ideas, suggestions, advice on somebody else when I don't have all of that color? That's theirs. So my development was in, even if I did have a reaction to what decision they had to make, it's not my life. It's theirs. So how can I support you in making your best decision with your current circumstances? And I've tried to hold that as pure as I can throughout. And I'm not always perfect at it. Like, it still creeps back like, oh my God, what are you doing to yourself? But when I catch myself like wanting to tell them what to do, it's because of my version of events. I'm missing 95% of what's there. I only have a really small portion. And I think that's why when we work together, Karen, we're always trying to help people get a fuller picture. Mm-hmm. So I only have, let's say, 5%, and that's probably a vast overestimation of how much I know about what's going on. Let's say it's 1%. So if I can help them expand their view, maybe that supports them in making that better decision for themselves. I'm never going to get the 100% from my side of the table. But I can help them see theirs from maybe a broader one to make that decision. So for me, it's recognizing that I don't have the information. They do.
So important, right? That we think in this window, regardless of how much time we have with that other person, we think we have the picture. I love that you just said it that way. And hence our judgments and our advice giving and our, ways into that start to, seep in. Where the opposite of what we create in our space is to not only open up and get curious about it so we see more, they actually often only have a small version of the picture as well. That immediate hit, like whatever that immediate reason was, for example, in your situation, why you called off the wedding. And yet when you went into the coaching development work and the healing work, it was an opportunity for you to see the whole. Where if people had to try to stop you or force you to go in, that seeing the whole wouldn't have allowed you to discern, this is the right move for me now. Yeah. So important that judgment is normal. It's going to pop up. You just said that. You catch myself. But the second part I'm curious about is how do you hold it back? Because it's going to show up in conversations, especially when you start to relate to the story that you're hearing.
And I think that's my cue. How much do I relate to the topic? How much does it draw me in? How much does it make me want to fix it for them? If I want to fix it for them, it's because it's making me super uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. And I feel like I need to dive in and support them. If I feel that pull, that's my cue to back off. Get more information. Get more information for them. Help them expand it for them. So, and I get drawn in like anybody would, but my development has been to pull back when I'm drawn in. It seems counterintuitive maybe to do that. And it may be situation by situation. If I'm in a pure coaching conversation, that's when I'm going to pull back. If it's somebody closer to me, I don't know, maybe I do feel like I need to step in. Mm-hmm. So it's learning which hat to have on, parenting hat, this is dangerous, whatever, or this is a growth opportunity. Let's let them figure it out, but let's let them figure it out, not me figure it out for them.
You said you had two angles to this. Do you have another angle you wanted to go with?
Yeah. It's funny because you actually mentioned it in your lead up to your question. Oh. So the other angle is when you hear judgment coming out of that other person. So they already have a preconceived idea of what things will be or how people will see them or things like that. And that's the debunking that I like to play in, because I hear assessments of people, of themselves or of the situation that I can easily see from the outside, that I can ask a lot of questions to help them get clarity on why they're judging it, help them get help them ground what they're saying in reality as opposed to a belief. So it's not just, so the first angle was people judging me and what I wanted to do or judging somebody else. The other is the assessments, the generalizations that people hold of a situation or of themselves that I want to make sure that they are super clear on, and to find out if those things are true for them. That's the other side of it.
How do you do that, Ian?
So when people use a generalization or assessment of themselves, so an assessment is just our belief or opinion. But often they're not grounded in reality. So I will ask them if they can identify a time that happened, or who told them that, or why they believe what they believe. Because when you do that, they have to dig into that belief to find truth or grounding in it. And oftentimes they will not be able to substantiate it with a real thing, because it's all in here. And I'm not here to correct the way that they think. I'm here to help expand that version of events so they can decide if it's something they still want to hold on to. Does it still serve them, or is it an anchor that's keeping them from what they want? And oftentimes it's the anchor. So for me, as an example, I have these permit things that we've been talking about, I've been talking about with you and others, right? So I've had this anchor in my head that they're out to get me. It's gonna, like, I don't know, they're gonna find me. I'm gonna say put me in jail. I don't actually think that was gonna happen. They're gonna make me tear it down, whatever. So I've made these judgments that they're gonna believe this. I also have a lot of judgment of myself on like guilt and shame and that kind of thing. But I had my first interaction via email with them. I finally sent something to get the ball rolling. And the email seemed very cordial and kind of matter of fact, and this is the next step. Which makes me feel more at ease. I'm still not at ease, but more at ease, because my judgment or assessment of what I thought might happen may not happen, or may not happen to the degree that I think it's going to. So it's calming me down. But if I hadn't had conversations with other people where they're testing they're not doing it in a coaching context, but they're testing my assumptions of what I think will happen through their experience and how they see it. And it's making me believe that the way I think about things isn't necessarily the truth. It's a version that I've made up in my head. So in coaching, I'm trying to open things up so people can get out of their head and give some grounding in reality to their topic, their view of the world. Does that make sense?
It does. There's two things that you, in your example, though, I just wondered, I'm going to name them, if you could just touch on it, because I think it's really powerful, your way you deconstructed that, is that you talked about your judgments were about things that had not happened, where in the past, it's the past, right? Mm-hmm. So you were making up, the worst case scenario, the story that you were telling. But the other thing that was interesting for me is what I heard you anchor it in is some emotions, shame, right? Guilt. So I'd like to speak into that, because you said out of their head, but there was also this emotional connection to how you felt.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's all tied up in like making mistakes as a child, right? Where you didn't know better, you did something, you got in trouble for it, or you were made to feel, or the way that you interpreted an action was shameful or embarrassing or whatever. So I mean, I can feel it like bubbling inside of me, making mistakes. And I can't name one from my childhood that I can think of at the moment, but the reason I'm reactive now is because I know it's tied to something back then. Right? Where you broke something, or maybe didn't plan something well, so then it came back to bite you, and whether that was in school or around the house or some way, I know it's bringing me back to that. So I realize that we all carry these stories with us, but we don't know maybe necessarily when they're going to rear their head in our current world 20, 30, 40, 50 years later. right? And it still hits me emotionally. So recognizing that in other people, that they're carrying old stories with them into their current story, whatever the situation is, their topic, and trying to give color and context and grounding to that today to serve them in moving through their topic a little easier.
What came up for me, I've never used this before, but we bring emotional muscle memory. You said, I don't even know what the instance is. You may forget the incident or incidents.
Yep.
That muscle memory is really close. And as soon as something in your current life has some semblance of maybe a past experience, that emotional muscle memory comes right into play.
Yeah.
Well, that's really interesting as we coach people to understand that, when we ask people, what do you feel like right now? Or how does that feel? Or what's going on inside of you? This is so important because they'll start telling that part. That part is often, we don't even have really good language around emotional way we speak, what our emotions are. Because for years, as you know, we were told, don't cry, stop whining, there were a lot of don'ts growing up that shut down our ability to articulate how we're feeling even.
And that's probably why I don't have language for whatever the story was.
Right.
It's a survival instinct, not wanting to feel like that again.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I have hidden from these facing the consequences or whatever the case may be, right, is keeping myself from feeling what is buried underneath this topic for me. What comes up for you in this judgment realm?
Well, as soon as you gave me the word yesterday, I thought, I gotta look this up. I don't even know what this really means.
Well, tell me what it is.
But then I thought, oh my gosh, as soon as that word was presented to me, I felt it. I felt how quickly I am. What I notice about my judgment is when it's not in alignment to my core values, to what I think's important, how things should be. So I have a little bit of a story there, don't I?
Mm-hmm.
And I get pretty rigid. And my practice has been, and I'm practicing this now, is just not to be so quick to judge. Like, you might not even know I'm doing it, Ian,
Mm-hmm.
but it's happening in here. And I don't want to feel that way. I think I used in my coaching with you the last time the word resentment.
Yeah, I think so.
Do you remember that? So I think there's a connection to this judgy part of me when I feel like I'm being put upon, or I don't know. It's really interesting. So I'm very aware that I have a trigger too. And it typically is that when I feel there's someone or something being wronged.
Mm.
I notice it literally goes into gear without any effort.
And if I'm projecting, it sounds like you've had this theme of people being wronged in your life a lot.
Yes. Yes. So it often, isn't that interesting that I have had this multiple times, but am I drawn towards that is my curiosity now.
And my curiosity is it shifting the way that you see things?
Sorry, can you give me a clarification on that?
That's fair. So, like, as you notice that you do have a judgment about these particular situations, is it changing how you approach those situations?
Yeah, what I'm practicing is, isn't it that important for me to do anything about this? Like, so do I have anything to play? Is there anything is this something I need to take on, would be my words. So I'm very aware that, and so it's very helpful because, as you know, I'm practicing some I got a rules book coming in place that's just saying, like, do I really need to dip into that? Is that important? No one's getting hurt. It's their way. So I'm much more aware of that pause. So I'm feel it, but I'm not feeling responsible to do anything about it now. And when I don't, here's what happens. It's actually works out all on its own without me. So there's this like, oh, okay. Again, what have I been inviting in or feeling responsible for in this hardwired habit? So really, really grateful to notice it more and more. So I have a very strong, as you described, feeling if something's wrong that I need to go and do something about it.
What's interesting there too is your feeling of being responsible, but if you didn't do anything for somebody else's thing, but when you don't do anything, it still works out for them because it was never your thing.
I don't know if it works out for them entirely. I don't have to. So, and sometimes, yes, I see that, I wasn't needed and it all worked out for them, or I don't know. But it's just being super aware that I'm not needing to be called in all the time. Mm. But where I am seeing it, that it just all works out, is really encouraging me to say, yeah, they'll let you know if they need you. They know what you're capable of. So the pausing and just letting it be and seeing how it manifests, giving it space and time, and then discerning, and then they'll come back if they need my support,
right?
Or if they want to talk to me more or whatever. So yeah, I'm not needed everywhere. Remember rule number 6 in the art of possibility?
Yeah.
Don't take yourself so seriously. Maybe I should practice that more these days.
You think we all could probably practice that a little bit more? Because I definitely take myself way too seriously.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine if I didn't.
Mm.
Like the city, do you think they care that much about me? They got a job to do. They've got rules to follow. They're going to do that. But do you think they're worried necessarily about Ian and his decks? No. Where I'm going to be a checkbox for somebody or a file, but I'm not going to be the be all and end all for them. It might be the most uneventful file they've ever had. I don't know.
Yeah.
And we will soon find out.
But when you say that, because you have a lot of judgment about yourself and about the situation, I'm curious when you narrated that, like you might have been being playful with yourself right now, but what's your thoughts when you give it that?
I am being playful with myself because I have been so harsh with myself.
Mm.
This isn't the only area in my life where I feel like I am judging myself to the nth degree. But it's the one that's the most pressing, like in the forefront. So it's an example of a theme that I've been running for a long time. Being playful has always been a way for me to feel better about things. I've always told jokes when people were in a maybe not the best position. I told a joke when there was I got to tell the story quickly. So last summer we went to the chip truck or whatever, big lineup. A woman collapsed and I sat and held her head off of the floor with and holding like a compress on her head while we were waiting for ambulance to come. And I told a joke. About a half hour in, she's in pain. She started laughing, which made it worse. Like I'm always trying to make things light for others to help ease their burden. I don't know if I do it. Maybe it's a self-preservation thing too, like to take the edge off for me and for others. But if I am lighter, things seem to be easier to go through. So if I'm lighter with myself, hopefully I can get on board with that lightness.
Yeah, that's so important when we, especially in the world of that work that we do, we want to be, hold space for others, but you're inviting yourself to hold space for yourself lightheartedly or with some humor.
Yeah.
Like take this area of focus on your shoulders right now where you got a lot going on, and find some kind of lighthearted humor. Like maybe I'm going to be an insignificant file in this checks in the box, and we've already felt a bit of feeling like, okay, they've been, I haven't ripped my face off yet. It's been amicable reply.
Good start. Good start.
Yeah, and I think that's. I feel like, again, as always, we're parallel tracking, and this afternoon, with my coaching topic, it's continuation of our previous conversation. Is just not taking ourselves so seriously, because boy, oh boy, will the judge person will come in and have, hey, all right, you're being serious now. You're kind of gonna critical. Oh wow, thanks for that chair. I'm right here to support you through this. And we talk about the committee in our heads, and sometimes that judge is at the head of the table. I love your metaphor, with the
gavel,
visual with the gavel. I mean, how much can we relate? They're at the head of the courtroom or at the head of our table, dominating us. And so, moving the judge aside and replacing it with another leader in our committee. Who would that be for you, Ian? Who would you?
Oh, probably the Joker.
Yeah.
Probably the Joker. Someone who's, willing to make a little lighthearted fun of themselves. I'm good at self-deprecating humor. It usually makes me feel better too. So I need to take myself so not so darn seriously. Mm-hmm. Awesome. I think that'll do it for judgment today. What do you think?
Yeah. Thanks, Ian, for bringing a great topic, and I loved playing with this word with you.
Perfect. Awesome. Thank you. Take care, everybody. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.